Dear students, welcome to the course Psychology of Individual Differences. Today, we are going to discuss on the very important theme, that's group differences and extremes of intelligence. The main objectives of today's lecture include to understand what are the group differences in intelligence, to understand the determinants of group differences in intelligence, to understand the extremes of intelligence, to understand the concept of intellectual disability, to understand the concept of intellectually gifted. Let us first have a brief background of the topic. We all know that intelligence is based on a number of different mental processes which include memory, decision making, thinking, learning, perception, reasoning. As per the Oxford Dictionary of English, it was almost in 12th century that the word intelligence entered our language. Presently, we have countless dictionaries that define intelligence, but all of us still have an unspoken idea about what it's meant to be an intelligent, which means we have our own implicit theories, unexpressed conceptions. When it comes to defining intelligence, we also realize that intelligence has varied connotations in different settings within our implicit theories of intelligence. Further, the group differences in intelligences have also remained the focal point of researchers. Let's first discuss the group differences in context of intelligence. It's well believed conviction that all humans overall have the tendency to develop all the psychological abilities on an average is somewhat a testable statement. But in essence, it's unlike most other empirical statements explored by scientists. Many scientists, philosophers, and even lay people hold the similar view for a variety of reasons. Individual differences are primary and group differences are secondary. The individual is the biological and societal unit. From inside the human species, many distinctions are perceived in a variety of biological and psychological features, and these differences are frequently of great social, economic, and emotional relevance to us. Based on such variations, individuals may be classified in a variety of ways for varying purposes into subgroups. For instance, a person's age, occupation, religion, marital status, and a variety of other factors can be used to categorize them. These classifications are said to be secondary as they are based on individuals' already existing characteristics. People may choose to classify individuals into categories, but the fact that does not change the individual. But of course, the individuals or others' reaction to such classifications may have a varying effect. A prominent researcher, namely Lewontin, demonstrated that the majority of genetic variations in our species occur within rather than between races does not rule out potential of large race differences in psychological qualities such as intelligence. The belief that population across differs in intelligence tells us very little or nothing about the underlying cause of this difference. This disparity could be due to genetics, but it could also be the outcome of environmental factors such as education, diet, cultural bias in the IQ test. The behavioral geneticists have two main strategies to investigate the impact of genes in phenotypic difference: adoption and twin studies. This type of study allows us a unique chance to investigate the phenotype and determine the relative contribution of nature and nurture. The traditional form of this study is based on the fact that the monozygotic twins share all of their genes, whereas dizygotic twins share only half of their genes, on an average same as their sibling. A genome-wide association study allows a large number of markers, specifically common genetic polymorphism, to be examined for their relationship with a disease or characteristic across an individual genome. The relation between groups and intelligence is a relatively controversial issue in IQ testing. According to researchers, there is significant difference in average scores among different racial and ethnic groupings. There could be three possible explanations that explain the group differences in IQ scores: heredity. Our genes and environment have a significant impact on our intellect, as per most researchers. Many experts believe that there is a reaction range to IQ, wherein heredity sets an upper and lower limit on how high a person's IQ can go. Three types of studies support the heritable nature of intelligence: family studies, as per which there is high correlation in IQ among family members; twin studies, as per which there is more correlation among IQ scores of monozygotic twins than in case of dizygotic twins; adoption studies, as per which adopted children's IQ scores are similar to their biological parents. Now we are going to talk about environment. Many scholars are of the opinion that group differences in IQ are better understood in terms of environmental factors as well. Adoption studies have shown that the nature of upbringing has significant impact on the mental abilities. Children's IQ scores have been seen to improve when removed from poor environment and placed in households that are more conducive to learn. There are some unequally distributed environmental factors that affect the IQ across different population groups. These may include socio-economic factors. The socio-economic hardships are linked to lower IQ scores. Health and nutrition. Poor nutrition, prenatal and postnatal care. Poor health and diet can negatively impact the cognitive growth and development of an individual. Education. Having access to low-quality education can limit the cognitive development possibilities of an individual. Gender bias in education. The biasness in education system, especially in developing countries, might be an explanation to why men and women perform differently in IQ tests when it comes to particular mental abilities. Now we are going to talk about biasness in IQ tests. IQ tests have been found to be biased against certain ethnic groups or minorities, according to some studies. Extremes of intelligence. Extremes of intelligence are the spectrums extreme high and extreme low. An IQ of 130 or more is regarded as gifted, whereas one with a score of 70 or lower is labeled as intellectual disability. What is intellectual disability? It is a major limitation in an individual's cognitive functioning and restricted ability to perform the activities of daily life. The disability may present itself in a variety of ways like impaired speech, limited language, and academic difficulties. For a very long time, intellectual disability was ambiguously understood, explaining the fact that diagnosis and treatment were almost negligible, until 2013, when DSM-V was released and the term mental retardation was replaced by intellectual disability. Dear students, let's explore the types of intellectual disability. The intellectual disabilities are classified on the basis of severity, and on the basis of that, these have been classified into diverse categories. Mild, 50 to 70 IQ. This category encompasses about 85% of the people with intellectual disability. They usually possess the skills, abilities required to live freely and work, but might need assistance when under unusual stress. Moderate, 35 to 50 IQ. This category encompasses about 10% of the people with intellectual disability. Social skill and vocational training is seen to greatly benefit these people. Severe, 20 to 35 IQ. This category encompasses about 3 to 4% of the people with intellectual disability. People with severe intellectual disability might be able to do some work under supervision and function in a community with the help of their families. Profound, below 20 IQ. Approximately 1% are in this category. These people have serious mental illness and require specialized care, which include structured settings and on-one care giving. Dear students, now we are going to learn about the causes of intellectual disability. The most prominent causes of intellectual disability are the fetal alcoholic syndrome and Down syndrome. Some genetic diseases and environmental pollutants might also contribute to the development of intellectual disability. There are some people in population who have intellectual disability and their cause is unknown. What is fetal alcoholic syndrome? When a mother during her pregnancy stage intakes alcohol, it develops in the fetus a set of conditions which might lead to the formation of fetal alcohol syndrome. This syndrome is caused when alcohol breaches the placental barrier and affects the developing brain of fetus, resulting in this syndrome. Since the development of fetus is taking place throughout the pregnancy cycle, fetal alcohol syndrome develops and affects the brain development of the child. This is the leading cause of intellectual disability in many countries. Dear students, we are going to learn about Down syndrome. Down syndrome, or trisomy 21, is a genetic disease caused by chromosome 21 having a complete or partial third copy. Here the physical growth delays, a particular set of facial attributes are present, and a severe degree of intellectual incapacity are all common symptoms. Young individuals having Down syndrome have an average full-scale IQ of roughly 50. Living with intellectual disability can bring on a lot of challenges, leading to internal as well as external problems in daily living. A child with intellectual disability may take longer than normal child to learn how to sit, walk, and talk. Individuals with ID may struggle to understand social rules and might have memory problems, have trouble solving problems, and have delays in adaptive behaviors such as the activities of daily life, self-help, and self-care. Health and safety might also be an issue. For instance, for someone with intellectual disability, understanding whether it is safe to cross the road or not is an issue. As explained earlier, one of the extremes of intelligence is the very low level of intelligence. And now, let's talk about the other extreme of intelligence. That's the very high level of intelligence. Individuals with very high levels of IQ are usually known as the intellectually gifted persons. The intellectually giftedness. A child might be called intellectually gifted if his/her cognitive abilities are much higher than their peers. Giftedness was once primarily defined by individuals above the IQ of 130. But later the definition of giftedness became more complex with no consensus or single definition. To define giftedness, a range of factors are employed including intelligence, creativity, achievement tests, as well as interview with parents and teachers. Gifted children learn faster and work independently than their peers. Now we are going to talk about challenges with gifted population. These children might feel bored in a regular classroom setting due to their outstanding academic achievement. This can result in behavioral issues and lack of motivation. Gifted children have unique learning requirements that, if not addressed, might lead to feelings of frustration, low self-esteem, boredom, laziness, and underachievement. Self-esteem issues. Since the children with intellectual giftedness feel they are different from others, thus in some cases they might have trouble mixing up and as a result feel depressed. Their difference makes them an easy target for their bullies. As per the studies, the amount of dissatisfaction is positively correlated with the more academically brilliant child. Perfectionism. Gifted children are often driven to excel in all aspects of their lives. Because they want everything to be perfect, they might spend more than necessary time in desire just to get everything right. Control issues. Many gifted children enjoy feeling in charge of the situation. These precious children might demonstrate strong independence from an early age. With time, the child's desire to be in charge can be misinterpreted by others as bossness and develop in others a feeling to avoid contact with these people. Unrealistic expectations. Most of the time, as gifted children become their own toughest critics. They struggle with testing because they have their own unrealistically high expectations. When they sit down for a test receiving B or C after largely receiving A might be devastating to the child. Impatience. At times, gifted persons can become frustrated and irritable with themselves and others. When they do not understand any word in book or any homework question right away, they may become frustrated. They may also forsake the extracurricular activities if they do not excel at it right away. Friendship issues. Gifted people might face great deal of problems in making or maintaining friendship. Students, now we are going to learn about analysis of group differences and intelligence gender. Perhaps no other psychological topic has sparked as much discussion and debate as disparities in intelligence between groups. The question that men are more intelligent than women has been researched over years. This question has supported a variety of contradictory conclusions depending on how the researcher was conducted, who was interviewed, by whom, and for what purpose. For instance, some studies have shown that girls do better on verbal proficiency tests than boys. Others will simply argue that boys are taught not to express themselves much and hence develop more slowly than girls in this area. Some studies have found a distinct male advantage in mathematics, but critics will argue that our educational system actively discourages girls from pursuing the mathematics. Evolutionary theories suggest that men are better at some skills, spatial or mechanical awareness, while women are better at others. The prevalent idea that women are better at multitasking. However, whether cultural influences have shaped men and women or whether culture simply reflects intrinsic variations in men and women remains a matter of debate. Massive amounts of data reveal that while there are minor disparities in certain cognitive talents on average, the male and female distributions are remarkably similar. There are no sex differences in general intelligence according to standardized IQ tests, which reveal that there is no significant difference in general intelligence. Dear students, we are going to talk about racial and ethnic differences in intelligence. Considering Spearman's concept of general factor in human intelligence, Jensen developed his own theory wherein he has divided intelligence into two sets of abilities, namely level first and level second abilities. Level first, also known as associative learning, which includes simple memory functions like rote learning. Level second, it's also known as cognitive competence. This involves higher skills like abstract learning. Jensen has remained a controversial figure because of his statements regarding race-based differences in IQ. Philippe Ruston is also a major proponent of the idea that there is a racial difference in IQ. He claims that there is indisputable scientific evidence of race variations in IQ. He believes that these variances are caused by genetic differences. At the conclusion, you must remember that different researchers have classified individuals on the basis of IQ in different ways. For ensuring a clear understanding, the classification as per Stanford Binet scales is reflected on the screen. Now we are going to discuss about Stanford Binet 5th edition SB5 classification, IQ range and IQ classification. Those having IQ of 144 plus, they are very gifted or highly advanced. Those having IQ between 130 to 144, they are gifted or very advanced. Those having IQ of 120 to 129, they are superior. Those having IQ in between 110 to 119, they are high average. Those having IQ between 19 and 109, they are average. Those having IQ level in between 80 and 89, they are low average. Those having IQ in between 70 and 79, they are borderline impaired or delayed. Those having IQ level in between 55 and 69, they are mildly impaired or delayed. Those having IQ in between 40 and 54, they are moderately impaired or delayed. Dear students, you may have clearly noticed that there are both positive and negative extremes of intelligence. Irrespective of our level of IQ, we should strive for excellence and move on in the various spheres of life. There are many ways to take maximum benefit from the whatever intelligence levels we have. Firstly, we need to assess ourselves. We need to know our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Only when we have fully explored ourselves, we can excel in our careers. Self-introspection is very much important in this regard. Our way on the path of excellence in our career should start with understanding the self fully. Secondly, I recommend students to opt for career counseling before choosing their career, because if a students end up in choosing a wrong career, I mean the career that does not suit their abilities and interests, then they are likely to show impaired performance. On the contrary, if the students avail career counseling and choose the career and vocation that suits their abilities and interests, then they are likely to perform well. Thirdly, if students faces some hardships while opting for a particular career, they should show resilience and not succumb to stress. Active and positive coping strategies will prove very effective in this regard. One more point that I would like to emphasize here is that while learning the group differences and extremes of intelligence, you should not get disheartened if you appear to be falling in a low IQ range, and nor should you be overconfident if you appear to be falling in the high IQ range. A person with low IQ can outsmart a person with higher IQ by inculcating in oneself the habits of hard work and preference. Effort is what matters a lot, and irrespective of the consequences, I advise the students to put in the effort. The effort should be continuous. If there are any failures, one should bounce back, because consistency is what matters a lot in academic and non-academic settings. Lastly, I would like to mention here that those students who are gifted should take maximum benefit from their abilities and utilize these abilities in ensuring the societal and human welfare. This spirit is of tremendous importance in ensuring the growth and development of the nation. The prominent researchers and scientists of the country have reached the levels of excellence by demonstrating the spirit of hard work and perseverance. We, as teachers, expect the same from you all. I hope you have enjoyed today's lecture, and I hope you all will follow the tips that are provided to you lately in the lecture. Dear students, that's all for today. Thank you all once again.